Welcome to the May 4th, 2026. Can fill one of those out and turn it in at the auditor's office. Leanne, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Ken, will you please lead us in prayer?
Our Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to come and work through the issues within our county and make decisions that will first and foremost give honor and glory to you. Just be with us and be mindful of the events that we do. And we ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. All right, we will start first with the April 20th minutes.
Christie, I have on the second page, down towards the bottom under the road projects agreement, it says bioenergy project issues. I think that's battery energy project issues.
If I remember right, Tim was talking about how
I
there was
see.
a change in who, Tim or Doug, you guys were talking about, there was change in who was working on the project on their end, that there had been some issues with their representative being, I think, non-responsive. And so you had given us an update that there was somebody new.
That is battery.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, okay,
All right, good catch.
that's all I saw.
Anything, Gabe?
Nope. I make a motion to approve the minutes from April 20th.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to claims. Any questions on claims?
I did not.
I do not, I'll make a motion to accept claims.
I'll approve. I second. Sorry. That's
All,
awesome.
all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to payroll. We have payroll for the amount of $435,269.72.
I had one thing. I just saw that there was some labeling in there for BZA, but I talked to Christy and it's corrected as far as it being the merit board lower in payroll. So
Okay.
it was just a labeling mismatch. That's all I have.
I'll make a motion to accept payroll.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. All right, up first we have Sheriff Bill Myros.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to be ahead of Tim tonight. So I emailed you a copy of a contract earlier last week. It's time to renew our contract with CPC,
Yes.
Combined Public Communications. So Chad's had a chance to look at it. He didn't see anything out of line with it. Again, this is a renewal. We've had CPC since 2019. They're a good company to work with. It's basically the same contract. There's a few upgrades with this, but they've been good to work with, and they're providing a good product for us. So we're just seeking approval to renew this contract. I laid a copy up there, a hard copy for you to sign. If you agree to do so and sign it tonight, I will get it back to them for their signatures and then get Christie a copy of it.
This is for your inmate
It's
jail
inmate
call system.
communications. Yes, it is.
So does that include, like, do you guys have text messaging through this
do.
or emails, however you?
In fact, they call them chirps actually, but yes. And in this case, with this upgrade, every inmate will get a tablet.
Okay.
And they can do video visits on the tablet, they can do the chirps, they can do phone calls, they can do about everything. That will eliminate, not totally eliminate the kiosk we have, but it'll eliminate some of the work we do on the kiosks.
In that circumstance, then, are headphones included, or is that something else that comes through commissary?
It will come through commissary.
Good deal.
Chad, no issues.
I'll make a motion to accept the contract.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
you.
Bill.
All right, up next on the agenda, we have the Fairgrounds project. At the last commissioners meeting, we had discussed the additions to the Fairgrounds Ready project for Phase 2, and we had approved the all of the cost estimates or the maximums, all of the cost maximums for Phase 2 of that project, which includes the electrical, the paving of the midway, improvements to the horse barn, and I needed to then go to the council and get approval from the council to move forward. Council gave me that approval at their last meeting there in April. And so now today, we need to discuss the T. It is the amendment to reflect the additional cost for the Phase 2, which was the $870,072.49. And so when you look at the total project, it's $4,541,295.27. And just to remind folks, this is after we have raised significant contributions through the donation campaign to where there's going to be no additional tax funds that are going to this part of the project. We've also been able to receive in-kind donations of over $130,000. So the project with these additions won't be seeing any additional tax impact there.
We read that total one more time. I think it was too many thousands.
On the,
Total amount, 4 million.
sorry, $4,541,295.27.
Okay.
If I got that wrong, sorry.
I just wanna make sure.
Yep. And so we just need to talk about that. I know it's been circulated. You guys have any discussion about the amendment?
I do not.
I do not have any.
I would make a motion to approve the amendment to the BOT project for the fairgrounds.
I will second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Christy, can you just email me a copy on Wednesday? Thank you. All right, up next we have Cheryl Franks from Lockmuller to present the Future Safety 3 plan. This was the study that Decatur County joined with Rushville, Rush County, and Henry County, and Newcastle originally, in which there was a study that was done on what we can do or what needs to be improved on for that then we can use to go after state or federal funding. Cheryl.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Commissioner Pazel. My name is Cheryl Franks with Lockmuller Group. I'm the Traffic Engineering and Planning Division Manager there. And for the past, I guess by now it's about 18 months or so, so wrapping up a really long project here to look at safety along what originally was just the corridor, the Route 3 corridor from I-70 down to US 421, but that did get expanded, as he mentioned, to be more of a county, so you have some control over some of the projects that came out of this, that it was not just NDOT roads that were being looked at with this funding source. So turning to the second page, and so this was a PowerPoint. I did send this over to Commissioner Pazel earlier, 2 hours ago. So he does have a copy of it electronically if you would like it afterwards. But what the Safety Action Plan is and what it is not. It is a roadmap for improving safety. The ultimate goal here is zero fatalities and serious injuries on our roadways. It is a tool to prioritize projects and policies and a foundation for future funding and implementation. It gives you that data-driven, so you can make data-driven decisions about how to spend your future capital dollars. What it is not is a list of funded projects a mandate to build anything or even a spending commitment. You know, that we really hope that you use this as a guide in your future planning. Kind of like how you act with your, oh my gosh, like your comprehensive plan. Thank you. Oh my gosh, like your comprehensive plan. You know, a document like that. So, so this project really looked. As you know, there's no regional body over this area, you know, so that was kind of one of the difficult parts of this, but I really appreciate that everybody did come together to get that regional perspective about this corridor. It was sharing corridors, it was using shared data, you know, regional data, and working together will make a stronger application when you do go for grants. Not saying you have to team up, but with a collaboration like this, it will give you a stronger grants application if you continue this multi-jurisdictional focus on trying to get projects in the ground. But you do maintain that local control. You know, throughout the project, we wanted to make sure that you still maintain full decision-making about how you spend your dollars later. Like, there's no MPO here, you know, there's, you have control over project priorities as well as timing and funding. Skipping. All right, so safety action plan components. Parts of this plan included vision and targets. So this has a vision of 0 fatalities and serious injuries by 2050. We had to have a target date there per the grant funding. I think I forgot to mention that. This was funded by an SS4A grant, a Safe Streets and Roads for All grant, which is a federal grant. 80% of the funding is federal and 20% was shared amongst the participating municipalities. There was included data analysis, engagement across the entire area. There is a safety toolkit, which I'll explain in a little bit here as to how to use that. Some project per each municipality and jurisdiction that participated. Policy strategies, because it's not just about the physical improvements, is also some of it was policy improvements like, hey, what else can you do? But also an implementation plan as to how maybe you can attack this moving forward. Excuse me. So the safety analysis, this was across a 3-county area. Overall, there is about 1% of the crashes do end in fatalities. Another 4%, 5% or so are serious injuries. If you look closely at those numbers, there's a difference in the serious injury and injury columns in about between 2021 and 2022. NDOT just started, they classified things differently in that time frame. So, that's all what that is right there. We didn't magically have a lot of serious injuries go away on that. Looking at the engagement, we did have 4 steering committee meetings, which Commissioner Pazel was a participant of. 7 stakeholder interviews, including the Honda plant, some representatives from there. 5 community events, where we went out to the community to our website and just make sure that we got public input, as compared to having people come to you. You know, it's hard to get people out of their house nowadays, busy lives. So we went out to the public there. And we did have 6 open houses, 2 per county. And our online, we had about 252 survey responses, and over 60 online map comments, you know, where they could put a pin in a map, you know, kind of saying, hey, this is a dangerous spot here. And I think maybe you possibly, if you have a kid at Greensburg, you may have seen us at the Rushville-Greensburg football game, actually. We had a booth set up there trying to promote the plan there. So So the Decatur County Safety Needs and Priority Areas, we do have a crash, explain that to people that without the visuals here, but I'm guessing those of you with visuals are probably not surprised by seeing those locations as to where those hot spots are occurring. So one is like the straight up crash heat map on the left, but that translates to a high injury network on the right. And that high injury network is really any of those roadways is what you can try and get federal funding for on future rounds of SS4A implementation funds. So first, before we get into the improvements, there are some policy and process reviews. So some recommendations along there are, we divided into like some emphasis areas, kind of who's, the recommendation associated with that emphasis area, as well as who might that responsibility be, and what kind of safe systems approach that achieves. So for instance, an emphasis area of complete streets, and so we recommend that you adopt context-based complete streets policies and procedures using local models and NDOT best practices, with the safe system approach elements being safer roads. And so some of these emphasis areas, complete streets, data-based decision-making, so it's not just off on a whim that you have that data supporting your decisions. Safe routes to schools, for instance, and also vehicular speeds, and also public education, because we all really have a part in safety here. It's part of the whole safe systems approach is not just the infrastructure or safer cars, it's the whole system, and driver behavior is part of that system, and public education can really get at that as well. So one of the parts of SS that it promotes is low-cost, highly effective countermeasures, safety countermeasures, looking at systemic improvements. And what I mean by that is, okay, for instance, do we have a similar curve, like a curve with X radius? We see a lot of crashes on curves like that. Okay, where else do we have curves like that? And so that's where the safety toolkit really comes into play. Is it on one of your roadways, you can go to that toolkit and maybe be like, oh man, we have a lot of people crossing the center line. Okay, well, we have some center line rumble strips perhaps, that you can install on some of those to try and prevent head-on collisions, for instance. So that safety toolkit is part of the appendix to the plan. It's, oh gosh, probably about 40 pages, but it's not like difficult reading. It's, kind of more like an index that you can go and a good reference for you to, and it'll give you kind of a hint as well as like, okay, $1 sign, is it kind of cheap, or is it, oh no, like roundabout, that's a $5, $5 sign thing there. So that's really looking at systemic issues, but it's the next page then would be your prioritized projects in Decatur County. And as I mentioned, we wanted to make sure everybody at least had a few, and because a lot of the projects that came to the top after we applied a matrix, a selection matrix to our high injury network, a lot of the roads were NDOT roads, but we wanted to make sure that you have your own ones that you can control. And so we identified some state projects, some city Greensburg projects here, as well as some county projects. And the plan does get into what went into that scoring. So if you want to, fall asleep tonight, you can start reading that plan and see how we did that, but that got to the prioritized projects, and specifically the Decatur County recommendations. There was 4 of them in here that we noted. The highest ranked one in the county was County Road 300 North. So I'm guessing again that you guys are probably not surprised by that recommendation. The next one was County Road, West County Road 1000 South, from 350 West to 100 West. And then South County Road 1050 West, and then West County Road 100 South. Anyways, there are a map there to help illustrate like where that
When you say these ranks,
Mm-hmm.
that is,
be used. And so I think I don't have exactly the percent that we use, but for instance, what went into that rank was maybe about 40% of the safety score, from the data. Another, say, 10% was input that we got received from the public. And another, 5 or 10% was this identified in a previous plan, because that is also like, hey, just making sure. And so we had that add up to 100 for these various things. And so when we applied those criteria to the GIS network, these are the projects that came to the top that scored the highest. So. Part of the project also was looking at some concept plans along Route 3. And so to do a concept on is right at North Decatur High School at State Route 3, County Road 300, as well as their northern entrance there, just north of 300. And we really liked the two roundabouts there, both at not just the intersection of 300, but also at their entrance, so people really can't pick up speed so they don't just come out of a roundabout and then speed right past the school. Like, they have to slow down, for that second roundabout, and really try to enforce that school zone through there, especially with how many trucks just were flying through there that we saw. I know that is also a rather expensive solution here with the two roundabouts. And I think one of the benefits of this project was starting those communication lines or continuing communications lines with NDOT. I think they are looking at putting a traffic signal in, I believe, possibly at 300 North.
They had sent something over to us within the last year. I don't remember what the total price was, but 85 or 90% of the cost would have been on the county compared to what the state was willing.
For this
Okay.
project, yes.
Yeah.
The light was suggested just because of the reduced amount of cost versus the roundabout.
Sorry.
A way to do something
Exactly.
now,
Exactly.
trying to get to this later.
Yeah, and so, so in the plan for each of these projects, we do have kind of like a cheat sheet that kind of gives what the issue is, what we recommend, some short-term solutions as well as long-term solutions. And so the roundabouts were definitely in the long-term solution because we know that that's pretty expensive there. So I think that signal is a good solution in that short term.
It definitely surprises what a roundabout cost.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh, you don't.
No, we knew.
Okay.
When we got the numbers, we were like,
Okay.
that's
It has gone up shocking amounts in the past 5 to 10 years. Say a decade ago it was probably about $1 million. Nowadays it's about $3 million, 2 to 3.
Yeah, and we need two of them.
Yeah,
And a half a mile.
yeah. So I'm not sure why it went up so much. I think just COVID and materials, and the materials costs just never came down afterwards.
But you
So.
said this plan is something that could be 80% federally funded? Roundabouts be 80% federally funded?
This study was federally funded,
It's
and
just the study.
yeah, so the point on getting the study done for 3 as well was so that we have something that we can go to them and say, look, we have a need.
we have the data.
We have a need, and we've already done the study
But you
for
can't
a
get
project.
this
Eventually-
much federal grants.
Eventually, you
Can't
probably
get that much.
could.
Yeah.
It's just right now, until you had all this data, you couldn't. So when this was originally proposed, that they pretty much came back in, we're not gonna pay for that. So, it's a process of having to go through and apply and use this data to be able to see if we can get them to input for it.
Yeah, because we were just saying, hey, we have a need, but we didn't have any data to back it up. Now that we have this, we can go to them again and say, look, here's the report, here's the data that says that we really do have a need. It's not just us saying that we have a need. Here's the study and everything that they had done for us as part of this project. And so hopefully then we can obtain more funding than what they were willing to do initially.
Tim, have you seen this either? You happen to have an extra copy?
I do. There's one actually on the
Okay.
chair right there, if you want to grab that. Too. Okay. So right now, the SS4A application, the NOFO is live right now for federal applications. It closes like on the 26th, so it's getting kind of, yeah, it's kind of out of time at the moment for this round. But so it is interesting because NDOT themselves as an entity cannot go after federal funds. Excuse me. But for instance, another municipality that we're working with is going after an application, an SS4A implementation grant for a road that NDOT does own. So I'm very curious if the feds are going to, so kind of getting at what you were wondering, if you are the lead entity, can you get the funding for it? That's an interesting question that we can help dive into if you're interested. So,
You guys support, like, helping with the grant process?
yes, yeah. So that was at the high school. We threw the next concept plan in is Greensburg there, but State Route 3 and US 421. I think there's several things that we can do at that intersection as well to make it safer. A lot of it can just be through striping, but lights, yes.
It's very dark.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. And those, not its side.
They had dumped all the grain out.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you guys even know it better than me.
I was there.
So nobody should be going that fast around a curve, around a turn like that, so. So part of this plan is also then identifying like what is working from the plan, because we want to give you a plan that works. We don't want this to sit on a shelf, of course, so it's kind of, so in terms of performance and accountability, kind of here's some measures that you can take a look at a few years from now and just say, okay, are we meeting our targets? And if not, what else can we do differently? Or, it's just really going back and reflecting and seeing how the plan is performing and, what needs to change. Or maybe it's working great and you're hitting your targets, to get to a Vision Zero. Because that was part of the plan, that a safety action plan is required to have a commitment from a governing body to a commitment of 0 fatalities and serious injuries. But the second part of that was committing to have a committee, even when we're done and out of the picture, that there is a committee that promotes safety borders. And in the short term, supporting upcoming projects, but in the long term, really guiding your policy funding or capital planning, really. And so, yeah, that was about all I had for you for today, but happy to answer more questions. So.
It's a lot of really good information, thank you.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it.
It was good. I think a lot of the public input, I actually got a call about this a little over a week ago from a gentleman who had come to some of our open houses.
Oh, good.
And he had had some questions for me about where we were in the update. So I think that we really did do something here that can help us in the future.
Good.
So I'm very appreciative of the work that you guys put in on this.
Thank you. Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity to do the plan. I appreciated the getting to know your community even better. There was something else I was going to say, and I forget what it was. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Right. Thanks, Cheryl.
I do also want to say on that I'm very appreciative of the help that Kyle Gardner had been able to provide to us. He's on the council up in Rush County. He was the gentleman that first contacted me about this and was really the main contact through all of this. It was great working with him. So it was very good having Kyle as a resource for some of the questions that I had, and Cheryl as well. Thank you. Up next, we have Parks Board appointment, and then we also have Parks Board appointment again. One of those needed to be Centerstone's appointment. And
It's all
so, we're good. So we're just gonna do the Centerstone, appointment here first. I know that we had gotten several different names. I think it was 3 different individuals had contacted us, expressing interest in being appointed to the Centerstone Board. Do we have any discussions?
Can you say the 3 that were,
So we had Desiree Moore, Abby Harry, and Chris Ramey.
okay.
All 3 had expressed interest. All 3, I think, bring different qualities to that board. I think they all want to see the betterment for folks to get help and to use the resources that Centerstone can provide.
Well, I would make a
Recommendation?
recommendation, not a
You're
resignation.
gonna resign?
Yeah. A recommendation for Desiree, and here's my thought process. She is a licensed clinical social worker. She works in that field. I think she would have a good insight with being on that board with, so I would make a recommendation for Desiree.
I think those are good justifications, and she would bring a lot of knowledge for how things, for what people can actually get as far as information to them, and then also what best practices could be as well, to help navigate decisions that Centerstone would encounter during their process.
And definitely when we have questions, and we've had questions for Centerstone in the last 2 or 3 years, we've had some issues with their reporting and different things like that. I think she can give us some help and insight on that as well. So that's my recommendation for the board appointment.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to appoint Desiree Moore.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, moving on to the Park Board appointment. And Gabe, did you want to show that you're abstaining on that?
Yeah, I wanted to, just because one of the candidates was related to me, I wanted to abstain from vote. That's why I had no comment.
Okay, so we'll show
There
just,
is no benefit to any of the person in that position anyhow, but
we'll show Gabe abstaining from the Centerstone Board appointment. Moving on to the Commissioner Park Board appointment.
Who are your options?
So we had Gary Hash. Let me go back here. Steve Reamer.
yeah, that was the one I couldn't.
And
There's one more.
yeah, I accidentally closed that window out.
I thought we had one more. Someone emailed us.
Ashley Snap.
Yes.
Ashley Snap, that's it.
And Patty, I'm not sure, did you respond? Did the original folks, did Steve and Gary reach back out that they were still interested?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And just before we go any further, we had previously appointed someone else to the Parks Board. They then had moved out of the county, and we believed that it was best if we had a Decatur County resident being on our Parks Board. So that's why it's back up for discussion.
You guys have any recommendations on that?
I don't think you go wrong
No.
with any of them, so I wasn't very helpful, was it?
Be-
No, it was not very helpful.
Beyond Gary, I don't have much of a data set, if you will, for a lot of them, or for the other two. I know in the information that Ashley had provided, she has a lot of experience,
I know all three of
working on
them.
different boards.
I think they're all three would be, good candidates. Ashley's, she has some younger children. I think that's maybe part of her interest, with the parks. Of course, the other gentlemen have grandkids as well, so.
Brian, you're on the Parks Board.
Yeah, I know all three of them well. They're all great folks. I think, all of them have somewhat censorship appointments, sort of coaching experience. Great. I was gonna ask, did they do away with the
Do you mind to step to the podium? If it was gonna be quick, I was gonna let.
somebody just bring the microphone?
Did they do away with the whole political background for appointments on boards? Because at one point, for the Parks Department, I believe you had to have a balance between Republican and Democrats. And I don't know if that, I would applaud if it was tossed away like that, but at one point, I know at least the Parks was organized that way. I haven't heard anything about it in a long time, and I didn't know.
You are the Parks Board president.
I realize that. I'll abolish it if I have to, because good people are good people regardless of political party. But I remember that's how I got on the first time, is I had to vote in a primary. I guess I don't know if that still holds. We're in the mix of changing our bylaws, and that's nowhere in there, so.
It's been a long time since we've dug into that
Yeah.
old 1970 or 1960s write-up.
That is one that I don't know, Brian.
Well, I just assume, unless it's brought up,
We researched a lot, but that was not one that we covered.
I think that's been an antiquated rule, and I would be gladly to propose it to on a board level of doing away with that rule if it is said rule.
Well, I guess with that information, we probably need to find that out before we go any further.
I'll send you what document I have way back when. But if we need to draft something and pass it at the board level, we'd be glad to do that.
All right, we will just move this then to the next commissioners meeting.
Parks Board.
All right.
For the third time.
Up next, we have the Extension Office. So the Extension Office of the new community building is in need of conference room tables and chairs. I have a quote here from the company that had already outfitted the Extension Office with desks. And so the conference room chairs, 12 of them in total, $2,679.31, and then the conference room table, 12-foot long, is $1,477.16. With delivery and freight, the total is $5,026.47. That would be paid to ready-to-go office furniture.
They have a very nice, exceptional conference room, and there is nothing in it but a TV.
Well, now they do have some of our
Well, there's-
our folding tables.
It's getting doubled as a storage area, but I think it serves a lot of purpose to various groups that can use it within there. At $200 and something a chair, I don't think that's that's not overpriced, and the table itself, they're expensive, and that seems a really reasonable price to me. So I think it's an absolute must for that building. Why not put some of the last few touches on it? So
I agree.
I'll make a motion that we approve this proposal.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right. We will be publishing bids for the portalets for the fair. This year, we are in need of 10, in contrast to 20 last year. The discussion with the fair committee was that with the new community building, there are more bathrooms that are already available, so we didn't need to have the additional 10. So we will be accepting bids at the next commissioners meeting, but we need 10 portalets. They need to be delivered on the fairgrounds by July 5th, and they need to be picked up by July 17th. They need to be serviced and cleaned daily. They need to be stocked daily. There are also location stipulations for where those will be placed. So if you're interested in that, please submit a bid. All right. Brian, anything from the EDC?
Not too much.
Okay.
See what we did?
We fixed that.
Ken, I know you'll hop right up to that microphone.
I gave you a copy of a media release. That was for the county VSOs to meet the requirements for the new state law or state bill that was done. We, as our county, now meet all of those requirements, and so we're in great shape. Friday, I think I picked the wrong day to try to replace our flags outside. It was nice and windy, and I thought maybe I was just flying kites that day. But I've got them all updated. We were changing them out every 6 months. I think I'm going to change it every 4 months. They were really tattered with all the wind and stuff that we've had. But I need to get with Charlie because some of the lanyards or the ropes are starting to show wear, and I'm afraid one of these times, with the way the wind's been going, that we may end up losing flags. And then the only other one over at the annex building, I want to put a state flag over there if that's okay with you guys, instead of just the U.S. I've got flags on order. I'm just waiting for my Indiana flags to come in. I'll get that changed out. So.
Good deal. Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Sheriff, anything else?
Just real quick, our latest hire, Cordell Meadows, graduated from the academy a week ago this past Friday.
Saw that.
He comes back to work tonight. He took a week's off vacation, him and his wife. So he starts tonight. He'll be in an FTO program for about 6 weeks, then on his own.
Good.
Fantastic.
Congrats.
Thank you,
Who
Sheriff.
are your FTOs?
Patrick Grau, John Organist.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
Tim Mortman, Highway Department.
Evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
We talked about last time, Bridge 131. During the environmental, it got beyond the scope of the project for financials, okay? So it was not eligible for the right-of-way funding from NDOT. We requested, got turned down, we turned around, re-requested, and we have been awarded. So that will be a reimbursable expense for that. So that's a plus. The resolution for I-74 unofficial detour, we sent that Chad, worked through it. I think we only got that all done. Is that correct, Chad? And so, okay, so that's taking place. So as far as the battery energy storage system, I'm pleased to say that they're corrected a lot of things. They really have. So they've got the asphalt patching done out there. They've done the raise and stuff. They're working with our bridge inspection firm, trying to figure out about the large loads, what it'll take to do it. They're liable to have put things called bridge jumpers over the bridges to carry the loads, so they don't put any loads on our actual bridges. So they're working with our bridge inspection firm right now to coordinate all that, what would be needed for that. The signage part out there, they are actually working with our engineering firm, our traffic engineer, to get the signage correct and within compliance. So they're working on that right now, getting the signs made and stuff. We did have one landlord pull some of the signage, but it was not in compliance, so very understandable. So Carrie Ann is the one representatives took over. So she is actually based in New York right now. She will be here on the 14th, and she's extending the invitation. If you commissioners or anyone want to meet with her or have any concerns, she'll be here and we'll facilitate that. So, but things are definitely on the right page, going the right direction now, and I appreciate them correcting the issues. So, Enterprise Truck. So we did have another company look at quoting them 4 trucks. All right. They just briefly looked at them, seen what the price was, and they cannot beat it. I mean, they'll give us an official quote if they want to, but they are not going to be able to beat that price. So, but they will put something in writing stating, hey, we just can't do this. This is where it's at. So,
Is that similar to the structure of how Enterprise was going to do it, or is that just going out and purchasing?
that's just going out, purchase a truck and have them set up and done.
Okay.
Is what it'd be. They let me believe about 15% higher is where they would come in, because they don't have the dealerships for all the different types of equipment, is where they're kind of behind the eight ball, these companies are. Where Enterprise has got all the different dealership access is where it's at.
Okay.
So yeah, I just told them, just don't even put all the work in doing everything detailed if you're not gonna be there, you know what I mean? But they will document that for us. Did have one employee resign, so we got another open position. Did talk to Patty about going ahead and posting them positions, so we can start that process to see what kind of applicants we can get in. Training, 811 training, we were scheduled to do 811 training this winter. The weather is bad and they canceled it. Usually we have to go there. 811 reached out to us and offered to bring the training to us since they canceled it. So they're gonna bring it to us May the 14th. We're partnering with the city. So it'll be actually the county highway department, parks department, but then the sewer, water, and street department of the city will also be participating in that training at our location. June 17th, we've been looking to get rigger training for our certification for our lifting cables, straps, one of our vendors is offering it. So June 17th, we'll be able to get that certification under our belt. So got a couple other guys doing it in certified tech and also road scholar course through LTAP. So those guys, that's a self-study program that they actually do online or on training. So that's taking place. We were awarded, they're called personal voltage detectors. So what they're for is during the night or whatever, if the power lines are down, there's actually it's a device that sits on the bill of your hard hat. And if you get out and there's power line voltage, stray voltage right there in the vicinity, it lights up. It's got lights on it. It tells you which side of you it's on. And it also tells you how close you are relative to it. So the closer you get, the more lights light up. So we've been after that. So it's a really nice asset to have. So the Community Foundation, RMC, partnered up. So we'll be receiving 8 of them for our crew.
How do they demonstrate that those work?
Basically, if you just get near the voltage in the area, you don't have to be that close. We actually became aware of them through IPEP. They had a very unforeseeable circumstance up north. A deputy actually responded to a crash incident up there and actually got out of his vehicle and walked into the power line, and it was a fatality. They're the ones that instructed us these was available when they was doing some training for us. So that's how we became aware of them. But yeah, like I said, we're very grateful to RMC and Community Foundation for working together.
If somebody like the sheriff wanted to go out and purchase those, do you know
Yes.
how much those?
I believe they're a little bit over $400 a piece.
Okay.
Is where they're at.
Because there's definite utility.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes, because you get in the summertime with trees down. If it's in that tree, you may not even realize it's there. It could be up on this side, but if it's tore from that side, you may not even see it's broke.
Especially when it's dark.
Yes. So they're very good, very good asset, I think, to have. They really will be.
Seems really reasonable price, even just to, they had to purchase them.
Yes,
Great safety feature.
yes.
Thanks for working extra on that, and thanks for your extra persistence with NDOT.
So no problem. Community Crossing Grant will open up September 1st this year. It will be September every year going forward. Okay, so I'd like the permission to go ahead and pursue that grant when it comes, but go ahead and pursue the council for the financial commitment letters. I'd also like to do that, the HIPS grant, the safety grant coming out again this fall. I'd like to just go ahead and start the process, get them in place, so when them grants come, we can go ahead and submit.
I'll make a motion that we approve Tim going after both CCMG and the safety grant.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Bridge 167 in Westport is complete, final, it needs to be final grade seeded, but it's all opened up, paved, completed
Is that open?
last Thursday.
Perfect.
So got that done. We have started some work on 400 West, drainage work out there. We've been berming and starting our roads, our prep roads for our double chip and seal roads this year. So they're starting on them. SC Construction is due slated right now to come in June 22nd to start their portion of the chip and seal. Plan on wrapping up about July the 9th. But we do understand that rolling tours going on and they're aware of it. So we're gonna have to kind of coordinate. We may have to shift the schedule around a little bit to not be in there chip and seal on them roads right before that bike tour takes place or something. So we may have to adjust based on that rolling bike tour, because we have about, I'm gonna say 6 or 7 miles of road is actually what we're gonna chip and seal. It's on it. Yeah, it's in conflict. So yeah, we may have to adjust that schedule a little bit. we're ready to go online with our permit applications and credit card. That's all been taken care of, pay, gives, test, everything. So we're ready to go on that. One thing I do gotta give a shout out, Sarah. So it's been decades, I think, since the highway department actually did the annual report, state annual report, totally in-house. And, she rolled her sleeves up and did her in-house 100% this year.
Good.
So I gotta give it to her. She will submit it at the end of this week to the state. So I wanna give a shout out to Sarah on that deal.
Fantastic. All right, so we have the resolution here, 2026-11. This is to basically authorization go back and appeal an unofficial detour status for 421 based on NDOT's construction work on 74. You guys have had an opportunity to review it.
I did.
Any discussion?
No, I think it looks good.
It would be great if NDOT would actually agree to this, because there has been an increase in traffic on 421 because of the construction. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-11.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Are you are you kind of overseeing the project there of 200? I know that as far as the fog sealing, the striping,
Yes.
okay, and then I know you had mentioned you wanted to make some kind of repairs before we fog sealed it too, just I know there's some kind of rough patches in
Yeah,
there.
we'll take care of
But
this.
you've got all that covered on timeline? Okay,
In our project, and yeah, yep,
perfect.
it'll be all done.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep, appreciate it.
Lots of work there. Doug Westerfeld, APC.
Afternoon, gentlemen. A couple things I wanted to just go over. Last week, we had the Big Ideas Open House for the comprehensive plan. There was 2 sessions. We had 20 people attend that was total for both sessions. And then there was 66 surveys that were received from the time that the announcement of the Big Ideas Open House until today, basically. That survey is still open. It'll be open for a couple more weeks. And then the next step is the draft plan recommendation. So it'll be kind of like the generic draft plan of what we're planning on doing and how the plan is going to be constructed. So that's the next plan. Next steering committee is in July, or actually June. It will be in June. So that's it for the comp plan. Any questions on that?
I was hoping that more folks would show up than 20 between the 2 sessions. The folks that came did leave some very thoughtful comments on there, so greatly appreciate those folks that came in and took the time to go through, read the boards, provide insight. Very appreciative of the folks that have filled out the online survey. Leave as much information. If you're filling it out and you have the ability, leave information, or if you have other information that you want us to know, feel free to call us, because we want to make sure that we get this right. That's why we want the public involvement. Folks at Thursday evening's open house brought some different things up to me, where they had a completely different view on different parts of the boards, different statements that were on there. And that's why we want to have these open houses, is we can sit around and talk and discuss the meanings of different words, different statements. And it's the different viewpoints that matter on how exactly some of these things could be applied or be viewed. That's why we want the public's involvement. So I would encourage everybody, when we have the draft comp plan open house, to show up, to look at what's actually there, so that we can truly reflect what it is that should be represented in our future comp plan.
Well said. The next item I have is the battery energy storage facility. The plan review has been completed by Commonwealth Engineering. I have received all additional documentation that we needed for the plan review, and then I conferred with Tim to make sure that they've met all their requirements for Tim. We received the permit fee, and we have issued the building permit for that, so they've received the full building permit for that facility. So just give you an update on that, and that's all I have.
And that's the same BESS that was approved by the BZA in
2022, yes, yep.
Okay, very good.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. Mike Snyder emailed us while we were sitting up here. Look at that later tonight. Leanne?
He is.
The generator thing looks to be pretty cut and dry by quite a bit, so we'll get that addressed.
How are things over at Communications?
Doing really well, thank you. I just first wanted to recognize that today is International Firefighters Day.
Oh, I really thought she was going
And
to May the 4th be with you.
wanted to recognize our firefighters in our county, our community, and how thankful we are for them. This past week, Carla and I attended the 911 Director Summit up in Noblesville for the last 2 days, for 2 days. And surprisingly, we got a lot of acknowledgement and praises of how well we were doing, which made us feel really good. Took a lot of great leadership classes as well. And we always learn something, and it's so valuable to take those trainings, you know, and whether it's just a couple of things or a lot of things, but that networking, that fellowship, learning things from other directors. So it was very valuable for us to attend those. So appreciate the opportunity to go. Exciting news, we all of a sudden hadn't heard anything, and all of a sudden we are getting ready for install for our new 911 system. So starting in a couple of weeks, actually. So we're, first couple of weeks is going to be install configuration. Josh has got his hands full. He's always got his hands full. So first 2 weeks is going to be all him. But then the third week will be getting us into some training, trying to get that scheduled. And then we're going live in June. So we're pretty excited, but it's going to be very busy. Also wanted to let you guys know we're very appreciative of everything. Again, I know we say this a lot, but of what Charlie's doing in the center. Center is looking so much better.
Walls painted,
It's almost there. He's got about a wall and a half
then the
left.
flooring's next.
The flooring is also here in the same time our 911 transition upgrade's happening, of course.
Yeah,
So, but we coordinate that to hopefully happen at night. So, you know, there's going to be some loud noise, but Levenstein's has got an installer that's going to come in at night and hopefully do that on our downtime. So we'll try and work that with radio and 911 calls. So
Hey, you have downtime?
a little bit at nights. Don't take it so extreme, Dave. But again, very thankful for that. I did get a bill from Scheidler's from the auditor's office. I think they don't know what to do with it, but they sent it to me for some supplies. But that is coming out of the CUM cap, is that correct? So do you want me to push that back to you? I think Tiffany pushed it to me,
Okay.
but I just wanted to address it here to make sure that we were
And it
both
is
on the
coming out
same.
of Kim Cap. No, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it.
And that came from Scheidler's for the painting
Painting.
and Charlie's
Mhm, paint.
supplies.
Okay.
Then let's see.
bless you.
The last thing that I had was that we are wrapping up with our trainees. We had 3. One did not make it through training process. It just wasn't for them. And as we know, this job's not for everybody, and that's okay. And that's what we always say. You know, we'll put every bit of time and effort that we can into someone, but in the end, if it's not for them, recognize it now, then seeing it later on. So, but we do have 2. One of them just successfully completed training 2 weeks ago. Amber Scholl successfully completed, so we congratulated her. And Delaney Holt's getting ready to complete her training the end of this week, and May 11th, she'll be going on her own. So we are very excited for both of them. So we have now started interviews again. One to fill that last spot for our 100% roster. However, we can now officially hire for our 2 added positions that the council approved us for. So going from a 17 staff to 19 staff, we're going to be hiring 3. So I'm just going to put it out there. We are looking for someone with experience or someone in the public safety that has some interest in wanting to be a dispatcher, but we're also willing to train from someone that doesn't have anything as well. So if you guys know anybody, or if anybody listening ever thought about wanting to be a 911 dispatcher, there's application on the county website. It is a separate application, separate from the regular county applications. Please fill out the 911 dispatch. It will go through Patty. Patty will direct it down to me. We are doing interviews now, so get it in with a resume, please. So that's all I have.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks for pursuing the training as well. It's very easy when you get into these roles to just be complacent, so it's great to see you guys continuing.
Continued education is
Yep.
always,
That's fantastic.
always good.
Absolutely, Sheriff.
Thank you, Tim, for jogging my memory. We got a call from Enterprise last week. 2 of the Durangos that we turned in earlier this year sold at auction for just short of $31,000. So the numbers Enterprise presented us are really
They're
holding
bearing
true.
out.
Yeah, it's working out.
Good.
Just information.
That's really good to know.
Thank you, Sheriff. All right. Anything else?
I do have just an update on the courthouse decorating. When the Historical Society approached us, I don't know, a month or so ago about doing some decorating and doing a reenactment of that photo. I've been kind of working with Kathy Bursman, Emily Bursman, and Natalie Acra, and the Community Foundation has graciously given us a $2,000 budget to purchase some bunting and some flags and some to decorate the courthouse. So the goal is to have that up and on the courthouse for the 250 celebration by Memorial Day.
Fantastic.
And then the thought process, if the, it's going to look nice, keep it up until Labor Day and then take it down then.
Awesome.
So that is in the works. That's all I got.
All right. I would entertain a motion to recess.
So moved.
We are recessed. Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming.